I've been told my videos are too long, so I've broken this one down into a separate one from the match review, because I felt there was probably a lot more to say about Christian Eriksen than just adding that into a match review. So, Christian Eriksen has been at Spurs for what, 6 years or so, longer than that maybe. Anyway, during that time he has been one of our best players. The stats that he has been able to demonstrate over those years have been up there with the best. But at the same time as that, he has always been lightweight in terms of challenge and in terms of commitment to get stuck in to a game or into opposition players and so on. So the reason why I say that is to emphasise the fact that whilst he is now going through a really poor run of form, or has been going through a real poor run of form, it's even more noticeable his lack of aggression, or his lack of fighting spirit, shall we say. And I think some of us, myself included, have been really critical of him not giving everything, because it's so much more noticeable, because he's not actually giving anything else. Whereas previously he was able to turn and flick a ball into the space in front of a player and you go wow, or hit a free kick that just is phenomenal, or turn a player and make a run and give this magical passes and all that kind of stuff. But because he's not doing that, it's then even more noticeable his shortcomings. So over the last, 3 seasons or so, vocally within the sports club that I'm in, South Dorset Spurs, there have been people, quite rightly, calling him out and saying, he's too lightweight, he's not doing enough, and so on and so forth. But we forgive him because of what else he brings. If you use the Sissoko analogy, that we've all stuck with Musa because of his commitment and because of his effort, even when he was playing absolutely terribly. We kind of wanted him to do well because we all love an underdog. And Eriksen hasn't been an underdog, he's been at the top. And so his decline in terms of his performances is then highlighting how bad or what how weak he is in those other areas, such as real commitment or real effort. And I think when you're playing poorly and you're going through a bad run of form, it's easy to do the easy things rather than trying the not so easy things. So he will make a short pass, he will pass back, he will pass sideways, because he hasn't got the confidence to do what he perhaps would have been doing. So listen, I'm not making excuses for Christian Eriksen. I'm just, I guess, playing devil's advocate and trying to make sense of it from my own point of view, right? Because what really struck me when he was substituted on Saturday was the absolute hatred from a certain section of fans towards him as a person. I mean, there were some absolute vile comments shouted at him. There was lots and lots of booing. And I was talking to a friend of mine who went to the Southampton game, who said he was absolutely getting slaughtered for the whole game at Southampton. Okay, I can understand it. We pay good money to watch your team, and if you feel like a player's not putting the effort in, then it's really, really frustrating. But you've got to look back, and this is my point, you've got to look back to in the past, the type of player that he is and the type of play that he's done. Has he ever really been full-on committed? You cannot put him and say Danny Rose or Eric Lamela in the same mould in terms of their aggression and their attitude towards the game. And Danny Rose is getting a little bit of abuse as well, to be fair. But the one thing you can't say about Danny Rose is he always gives effort. He might not be the best. He might not be playing well, and he said that himself. But he will always give everything. He doesn't hide. And Eriksen tends to hide. And so it's really noticeable now that he's had this dip in form, that's really bubbled to the top. And the fans are being really, really unsupportive of the guy, and I get it. And I'm not digging anybody out for being like that or saying that. I think it's disappointing because personally, and it's all about opinions. Personally, I think we should always support our players, regardless, through thick and through thin. Yeah, okay, we can complain about it and all the rest of it, but in terms of giving that player confidence, that's only going to come through our support. It's not going to come through our criticism, vocal criticism, booing, and name calling, and get out of my club and stuff like that. I think it's a really tough call. It's a really tough call, and when that is being done by large amounts of people, I'm sure that filters down, and players will get onto that and hear that. So listen, at the end of the game, Christian Eriksen went over to the crowd, he threw his shirt in, he walked round the pitch, he waved and so on, and quite possibly that could have been his last game for us. And I just feel that it's a little bit of a shame that a player that has given so much to the club is going to leave with people feeling such dislike, borderline hatred towards him. I just think that's a bit of a shame, and and I'm not saying he's not partly to blame for that, because obviously, some of the comments he's made about wanting to go and so on is not helpful. But it is what it is. So I, for one, won't be overly sad to see him go. I've got to be honest, because I think it's created some problems within the squad and within the club. It's a distraction I don't think we need. But once he's gone, and hopefully someone else will fill that void, and we can move on as a club, and hopefully see better times. But I certainly do hope that at some point in the future, Christian Eriksen will be able to come back to Tottenham and get a warmer reception than the way he leaves it. It's just an opinion. Let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm totally on the wrong track. It's just an opinion, right? Have yours.